I thought I just have to stay out of the way of this lyric, right? I just have to, 3 chords, stay out of the way of the lyrics, sing the song. So I'm in pre-production with Billy Crockett at Blue Rock, and he's really great at that, and has really great ideas. And he'll say, think about, this little musical thing or that little word thing, or what does this mean? He'll just ask, what does that mean? And with this song, though, he said, why don't you start over? He didn't like the music at all. And he was so right. So this is entirely different music. We threw out that sort of, it was a little bit of a fun, almost 3-chord major thing, and came up with this. This is called Hours in a Day. He's shining up his rifle as the coffee starts to perk, scanning over headlines while the neighbors go to work. This is another postal worker with a gun has gone berserk, started shooting everyone he knows. Now he remembers how his father taught him everything he knew, why the wind would blow, why the sky was blue, and how he once met Lyndon Johnson and said, I didn't vote for you. Lyndon Johnson punched him in the nose. And there aren't enough hours in a day to keep the emptiness at bay. There aren't enough hours in a day to finish anything. He was afraid of being photographed like Aborigines. He was afraid of being captured by the North Vietnamese. And when his little brother volunteered for service overseas, he was trying to turn water into wine. He bought a razor for his father and some roses for his mom. Then he split just like an atom splits up in an atom bomb. 'Cause the thought of spending Christmas in some hole in Vietnam was enough to make him cross the borderline. And there aren't enough hours in a day to keep the emptiness at bay. There aren't enough hours in a day to finish anything. 13 years of driftwood and Canadian debris, 13 tired horses on the road to Calgary, until the day that Jimmy Carter granted amnesty. He lived under a bridge at Reindeer Lake. He put old bones together like an archaeologist. He found old fossil records where ancient lives exist, and how easily it shatters in the clenching of a fist when he took all of the grief that he could take. And there aren't enough hours in the day to keep the emptiness at bay. There aren't enough hours in a day to finish anything. So he drives clear through Alberta without any alibi. And as he crosses over, he sees logos rushing by. Big electric billboards that are busting up the sky. Sky that never hurt no one. And in the middle of Nebraska, you find stands the water tower, and all his guns are loaded, all his grapes are sour. On the Richard Nixon freeway going 90 miles an hour. He wants his 15 minutes in the sun. And there aren't enough hours in a day to keep the emptiness at bay. There aren't enough hours in a day.
Wow. If you just tuned in, we are live in the studio with Darryl Purpose. That's so powerful.
I was talking to Paul one day, and I was a little depressed, and I was talking about how, there's just so much to do. It's all wonderful, of course, but there's just not enough hours in the day to do it, And he understood. He felt that, sometimes, and he said, "But we have these songs that we write, together, and you can get out of that. You can get out of that despair, with these songs," or at least he said he could. And 3 days later, he sent me that lyric in its entirety.
Wow. So powerful. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Well, tomorrow night, Saturday, October 17th, 7 p.m., you'll find Darryl at Avogadro's Number in Fort Collins, Colorado. He will be performing, and John Meares will be sharing the stage with him. Another wonderful singer-songwriter and a Live at Lunch alum as well. Yeah. Well, Darryl, it is just such a treat to have you here. Thank you again so much for coming in.
Thank you.
We have about 20 minutes left in the show, so we have plenty of time for more music and talk. But
okay.
I want to be sure to let you know how much it means to me that you're here and you're sharing this music.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
It's
It was a little hard. I woke up to this today a little sore.
Uh-oh.
Because I met this guy, Herm, about 6 days ago, and he's my new best friend. We connect on so many levels, and he said, this is like 6 days ago, right? And he said, he told me about, he used to be a roofer, like 15 or 20 years ago. He used to do roofs, and I said, wow, I need a roof on my house. I just got the check from my insurance company, and I got to find somebody to put a roof on my house. He says, well, why don't we do it together?
Well, that's a friend.
Yeah.
What a good friend.
Well, I mean, I'm going to, No, it's not. I don't think it's free. No, not at all. I don't expect that. But it's fun. And, and so I thought, okay, so, and then he saw me on the roof. I actually got on the roof, and he says, why don't you stay down there and, move the used stuff, And anyway, so that's what I did all day yesterday. And I'm surprised my fingers are even working today, actually.
Oh, my.
But it was good to, just do some hard work.
Yeah, swing a hammer for a while,
really something, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that is a lot of work, but it's also, there's a lot more to it than you might think, putting a roof on and doing it right, so...
Yeah, that's what I hear, but I leave it to the professionals, or the people who were professionals 20 years ago, anyway.
I love how you're so open.
No, it's great.
Things.
It's really great. It's
yeah. Well, if you just tuned in, like I said, we're in the studio with Darryl Purpose, and today he's performing songs that are going to be on his new CD that is in production. So this is a very special show in that none of these songs have been released in recording yet, and you're here performing for us live. So what a treat. Yeah. Yeah,
my pleasure. I've got another new one in mind. I thought I'd maybe bring the mood up a little bit.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And this song, actually, I asked Paul, I think the very first three songs he wrote for this album, one was about the death of Edgar Allan Poe. The other one was about a a graveyard in East L.A. for gang members. And then the third might have been this song. Yeah, it was the song I just sang, Hours in a Day, about the draft dodger slowly coming unhinged, which is how he described the song. He says, hey, I've got got this thing about... Anyway. But I said, Paul, you got to lighten it up. And so he sent this one, and of course this is right up my alley. I've spent some time with the nuns and monks of Thich Nhat Hanh at retreat up in Rocky Mountain National Park, and it changed my life in a lot of ways, and it's just such a great thing. I have so much respect for those people and for Thich Nhat Hanh himself and what they taught me. And the fun thing is, I sent an early recording of this song to the sisters at Blue Cliff Monastery in upstate New York, and they're going to put it on a CD that they will take with them when they tour, when they travel around the United States. So that's very exciting, and that's just so meaningful.
It is.
And sometimes you wonder why you write songs, and then stuff like that happens. And,
wonderful.
So this is called When Buddha Smiled at the Elephant. Buddha in Blue Forest, war's dark aftermath, bones of beasts and humans down the cypress path. An elephant came charging, new moon on the rise, full of crazy anger, fire in her eyes. She was drunk with sorrow and water laced with wine, crashing trees and temples down all along the line. Her great feet shook like thunder, lightning in her gaze, every second stretched into 1,000 days. And the whole wide world was singing of man and war and art, when Buddha smiled at the elephant with his heart. But Buddha was the gentle rain that fell over the land. He held the mighty elephant like a lotus in his hand. The elephant stood frozen like she had turned to stone, such a force of kindness the beast had never known. So she swept away the dust from her master's feet, as Buddha beamed with loving kindness down the broken street. Her giant tears came falling down like crystal rain when the Buddha came to wash away her pain. And the whole wide world was singing of man and war and art, when Buddha smiled at the elephant with his heart. And the whole wide world was singing of man and war and art, when Buddha smiled at the elephant with his heart. Buddha on his daily walk to take alms for the poor came to tame an elephant with love instead of war. The miracle of true love like a constellation shone, such a force of kindness the world had never known. And the whole wide world was singing of man and war and art, when Buddha smiled at the elephant with his heart. And the whole wide world was singing of man and war and art, when Buddha smiled at the elephant with his heart.